So as you can see by the title, we're talking about natural and versatile niche fragrances for the fall, not generic. What does this really mean? What is this all about? It's kind of a vague title when you think about it. And I'll be honest with you, I had different ideas for this title, catering more to the types of fragrances we're going to be talking about. However, unfortunately, titles that do that simply don't draw quite as much attention, at least from what I've seen on my channel. But what I do find is that titles geared more towards the function of these fragrances in terms of how they can be worn might be more appealing to you guys. You let me know. Maybe this is a little bit of a poll. Let me know down in the comments, what do you feel like you would be more drawn to if we're talking about the title of a fragrance list video. But anyway, getting into the video that you're now watching.
Thank you for being here.
All 8 of these fragrances can be worn for basically any occasion throughout the fall. In my experience, they all have high quality ingredients and they're all very natural smelling as per the title. And what I mean by natural is they all have elements reminiscent of the outdoors. Things that smell earthy and forest-like, green, fresh air, woods, and some other little nuances to make those elements a little bit more interesting. We're going to feature 8 brands that you don't typically see across YouTube, so you're not getting your usual suspects in this video. I hope you don't mind. If you want to try anything we're going to talk about, it will be linked in the description should you be interested to get samples, but let's dive right into it. In no particular order, the first one up here is one I've talked about quite a bit over the last few years. This is one of the few fragrances I've tried from this brand. The brand is called Monsillage. They are based up in Canada, and this is called Aviation Club. Literally before I brought the bottle up here on camera, I accidentally ripped off the most important part of the bottle, which is the feather. This feather has lasted the whole time, but I literally just ripped it off. It's kind of sad. I'm gonna need a moment, but we're live, so I don't have a moment. What does this smell like? This is a fresh green tobacco fragrance with some slightly sweet cognac elements, a little bit of tobacco in there, and even this metallic feel. That might sound like a strange combination, and it is, but it works. It comes together as a beautiful accord and one that is easy to wear. You do kind of smell everything separately, but it all comes together as one, so it does just make sense when you smell it. And it smells like nothing else that I've really tried as far as a tobacco forward fragrance goes. You could probably get away with wearing this year round, but I do think that the scent personality itself does kind of just smell a little bit more tamed, a little bit more earthbound. It just smells like something you would smell in the outdoors. It reminds me of being in a forest, maybe on a gloomy day or a rainy day, but there's something also pretty elegant about it. Let me know if you've tried this one. That is Aviation Club from Monsillage. Not too different from Monsillage. This is the only fragrance I currently own from the house of Dusita, and I know they're pretty well known in the niche community. This fragrance was sent to me recently within the past few months, and it kind of blew me away. I'm really eager to get to know it better. If you like iris, this is one to check out. It's called Pelagos, and this is based on some of the most natural smelling orris root that I've tried. This is a natural smelling, earthy, rooty, starchy, kind of fresh iris root fragrance. It doesn't smell powdery, not overly so. It doesn't even smell overly floral. It's just more subterranean. It's green, earthy, again, rooty, dense, but still a little bit fresh. There maybe are some florals in there. There's some bitter aspects, maybe some citruses. I can't quite tell. There's something that makes my mouth water a little bit that always makes me think of some kind of citrus at the top, but it's at its heart a green, dense, rooty, earthy, and natural smelling orris root. If that sounds good to you, then this might be something you can wear in a lot of occasions throughout the fall. That is Pelagos from Dusita. From the British house of Njie, this is called Voyer Verde. This is a green aromatic leather. It is a pretty masculine forward scent. There's something supple about it, soft, understated, a little quiet, but not a pushover, if that makes sense. Green and fresh, kind of like foliage in a way. There is this soft, not at all animalic leather note. It is just a supple base to the fragrance, but it does kind of wrap it up. There might even be some floral nuances, very slightly fresh floral as it kind of dries down on the skin, but it's a pretty simple scent. The way it kind of congeals doesn't change all that much in my wearing experience, but it is also kind of unlike most of what I've tried. So it's a beautiful example of something simple but a little different that makes it easy to wear. That is Voyer Verde. This fragrance is no stranger to my channel, but it has been some time since I spoke about it, maybe almost a year. I've loved this stuff since I first tried it years ago, and I implore you to not let the name fool you because this is a whole lot more versatile than it sounds, even more versatile than the parameters of this video. This is called Winter from Dasein, and the name of this fragrance pertains more to the feel of it, more to the picture it's trying to paint, more than it does the function, if that makes sense. So this smells like cold winter air in the forest. That is what I get. I can smell snow on the ground. I smell woods with balsams like tree resins. It's kind of piney. It's very fresh and invigorating, but there's also a calming nature to it. I think it really accomplishes its freshness by way of a lot of cardamom in here, and I love cardamom. But in this one, believe it or not, it's not necessarily done in the most seductive way as cardamom can be, and I think it's because it's not blended with a bunch of warmer notes like ambers and vanillas, just sweeter elements. That's not really the case here. It makes it smell a little bit more natural. It makes it smell less edible, like something that just kind of draws you in, that grounds you. Again, very natural smelling. And you can wear it anytime, but it is a beautiful scent to wear for those crisp, cool days during the colder months. That's Winter from Dasein. This fragrance has been a long time favorite of mine. I don't wear it a ton, maybe 2-3 times a year at the most, because I have to be in the mood for it. But when I'm going out, when I want to smell elegant day or night, but definitely a little edgy, I might reach for Incident Diplomatique from Jovoy. The only prerequisite for this fragrance is that you have to love vetiver. This is a super vetiver forward fragrance, a smoky, earthy vetiver. Smells maybe even a little bit ashy and green. That might not sound good to you at all, but the way it's blended with some nutmeg and some mandarin orange and maybe a little bit of patchouli, it has this damp kind of wetness to it, almost reminiscent of something boozy. It smells kind of dripping in a way with this subtle sweetness, almost juicy, I think, from the mandarin orange, but it is primarily a lot of vetiver. Again, kind of smoky. This is not a fragrance that embraces you. This is a fragrance that you stand and you look at it and you respect it and you shake its hand. But if you give it a hug, you might pass out. Sample first for sure with this one. That is Incident Diplomatique from Jovoy. This fragrance is beautiful French chic, and this bottle is absolutely stunning. This is called Black Beetle from the house of Alexandre, Njie. Gold and engraved on every square centimeter of the bottle. But what does this smell like? This is a warm, spicy patchouli with raspberry. That is mostly what I get. I think there's like a pepper, so it is kind of fiery and spicy at the heart, but it is kind of tamed by the patchouli, which is the primary element of this. It is damp and earthy, maybe a little bit green, but there's a slight fruity sweetness from that raspberry, very natural smelling, and there's some kind of muskiness to it. I don't know how to describe it. It's this French musk. There's something about it that just feels like classic French perfumery. It smells elegant, it smells dignified, it's a special scent, it's one that is taken seriously, but it's also versatile. You can wear it for anything. In fact, it could be your signature if you love it, if it is your vibe in a bottle. I don't know if this is my vibe in a bottle, so to speak, but something about it really resonates with me. I've really enjoyed wearing it for the fall time. That is Alexandre Njie Black Beetle. From the artisan house Rogue Perfumery, this is called Mousse Illuminee. I've had a lot of you guys tell me how much you enjoyed this one over the years, and I enjoy it too. And to be honest with you, it's something that had to grow on me over the past few years. It was a gift from a handful of my subscribers. You guys know who you are. Thank you so much for gifting me with this a few years back, and thank you for your patience to allow me to come around to it, because I didn't really love it right away. I liked it, but there was just something odd about it to me that just didn't make me reach for it all the time. But I've grown to love this style of fragrance more as time has gone by, and I really appreciate this now. This is a green, mossy scent at its core. Very, very green. Kind of smells a little bit old school, kind of like these 1980s men's fragrances that were all very moss driven. A lot of oak moss, some wood, some other green notes. Kind of mentholic in a way with its freshness, but very, very natural, especially the moss in here. So it has a definitive face. It does smell very masculine. It does smell a little bit more mature without smelling old fashioned. This is for those really looking for a definitive wearing experience. Check it out if you're interested at the links below, and let me know in the comments if you already dig it. And this final fragrance is honestly a masterpiece. This is a timeless masterpiece. I'm going to give it a spray here. From the house of L'Artisan Parfumeur, perfumed by Bertrand Duchefort, I believe this fragrance is maybe 20 years old at this point. This is called Timbuktu. This is a transportive fragrance, and it is one of the most unique blends of ingredients that smells only like itself and is quite versatile, ironically enough. It is such a unique scent. It is incense, fresh, smoky incense with some papyrus, so it has this soft, woody touch to it, maybe some spices, and this very interesting green mango. So the fruitiness here is not overly sweet. It's almost like it's not quite ripe yet. A little bit of a bitter sweetness. So it doesn't smell overtly fruity, even though it is kind of a fruity fragrance. And it's just this blend of elements working together that captures the senses. It paints a picture in your mind of maybe coming over the top of a sand dune, and down below you in a valley is this small village, or there's like a marketplace. It's dusk. There's something about it that just feels almost ancient in a way. And again, very tied to the earth, if that makes sense. It's classy stuff, I gotta say. Now, unfortunately, it's not that easy to find. I was able to find a couple of bottles around the internet at different places. Definitely not that cheap, but it'll be up to you to take the plunge and grab this for yourself if it sounds like something that'll suit your fancy, because I don't know if you're gonna have an easy time sampling this one. I will link to what I can find down below. That is Timbuktu from L'Artisan Parfumeur. Let me know if you dig this one down in the comments. All right, let me know what you think of all these fragrances, if you've tried them, and once again, if you haven't tried them for some reason, they're going to be linked in the description. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.